Susan's grandfather passed away in 2017. The entire family was sad, but it wasn't unexpected. The grandfather, Paul, had been married to Diane since they were childhood sweethearts. Everyone loved the grandparents, Diane and Paul. After grandfather Paul died, Diane was sad and decided she needed a change. She wanted to sell their home, but it had so many memories in it, she wanted one of her grandchildren to buy it. So, Diane asked her great-granddaughter, Susan, if she would like to buy the home. Susan agreed and was excited to live in the home that had such great memories from her childhood. Grandmother Diane moved to a retirement community in Florida. Not only did Susan want to keep the home in the family, she was also worried about her dead grandfather's cat. The cat, named Tigger, was almost 16. He was starting to decline healthwise. Diane and Susan decided that it was more important for the cat, Tigger, to stay in the home where he'd lived his whole life. Not only was Susan now living with her dead grandfather's cat, Tigger, but she needed help with the mortgage. So she decided to ask her brother if he would like to move in and help with the payments. Her brother agreed, and he moved into the master bedroom. Susan, on the other hand, lived in a side room. This is important because the room she moved into was actually her grandfather's old office. Susan was always happy and felt safe living so close to where her grandfather had spent so much time. Susan continued taking care of her grandfather's beloved cat, Tigger. That being said, Susan kept experiencing strange things. Almost from the beginning, the electronics in her bedroom, her grandfather's old office, would turn themselves off and on. This would always happen around the same time every night. It would happen around 10 p.m. to midnight, the exact same time that her grandfather would power down his office and leave for bed. The television, Xbox, lamps would all turn themselves off and on between 10 p.m. to midnight, and it would never happen at any other time of the day. Susan would sometimes hear strange noises, and it almost felt like grandfather Paul was with her, by her side. She continued taking care of Tigger the cat. Every time an electronic would turn itself off or on, Susan would say, "I love you, Grandpa." There was never any response when she said it, but the feeling of love and protection remained. Susan even put up a picture on the wall of the cat, Tigger, sitting on her grandfather Paul's lap. Susan would joke about this with her brother, who lived in the master bedroom. She would say, "Grandpa's always reminding me when it's time to go to bed. He just turns off all my electronics." Susan's brother never experienced the issue, but Susan lived in the part of the house her grandfather spent a lot of time in before he died. After living comfortably for 3 years, even with the electronics sometimes turning themselves off and on again between 10 and midnight, Susan was very sad to get bad news from the vet. Her grandfather's beloved cat, Tigger, was dying. To Susan, Tigger was one of the last things left that were a link to her grandfather. When Tigger died, Susan mourned again, almost as sad as when her grandfather had died 3 years ago. Slowly, she felt more and more alone in the house. It wasn't a bad thing. It was just something new she noticed about the house after Tigger had died. At first, Susan thought the emptiness was because the cat was gone. But even after adopting a new pet, she still felt the lack of closeness with her grandfather she'd experienced before. She also noticed one strange thing. The electronics in her bedroom, her grandfather's old office, were no longer turning themselves off and on again. For the last 3 years, She had experienced her electronics turning themselves off and on again, but now that her grandfather's beloved cat Tigger had also died, all of the lights and devices in her room no longer powered off and on by themselves. At first, she didn't notice, but then she noticed something else was missing, something precious to her. Ever since Tigger the cat had been gone, Susan no longer dealt with electronics turning on or off. No more noises or feeling her grandfather's presence. And even after she got another cat, she still never experienced the same things. Susan genuinely felt when Tigger the cat passed away, the last of her grandfather's spirit finally crossed over too. Susan told her brother, "I genuinely feel that when Tigger passed, his spirit went with her. I hope it can finally be at peace, though I do miss him telling me when to go to bed by turning my stuff off."